Hi, Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to our lecturer, Madam Azrina, binti Adanan, and all of our friends that are viewing this video or this presentation. So, before we start, I will introduce my name and my group members. So, my name is Hani Liyana binti Abd Wahid, and my other group members are Nur Syazwani binti Md Zanuri, Sherril Azzlynda binti Radzali, Siti Alawiyah binti Yazid, and Dzahrul Azhar bin Muhammad Tahar. So we are from MAC2208B, and my group will present on the topic just-in-time system. So this is the content that my group will present. I myself will present on the history and definition of JIT, also the objective of JIT. So before I start, on the history, on the depth explanation of history of the JIT, I will show some short video of the history of JIT. So I will show the video right now.
I'm Alex Berman, and you're watching Selling Breakdowns. Whenever you buy a complex piece of equipment such as a TV or a car, do you ever wonder how exactly it all came together? Well, ever since the Industrial Revolution, that how has been a vital question for many businesses. Today we're going to look at how in post-war Japan, Toyota helped to create one of the smartest production systems that we have, named Just-in-Time. We'll look at how it works and how you can apply the philosophy and practices to many other areas of your business. After World War II, Japan faced some difficult problems. They didn't have a lot of cash, resources were scarce, and there wasn't a lot of free land to expand factories. However, Taiichi Ohno at Toyota managed to turn these problems into advantages by slowly creating the just-in-time system. The idea didn't come all at once, it's more that through the 50s and 60s, various changes were implemented and improved until the 70s, where the wider world began to realize the benefits and adopted a similar approach. So, what is just-in-time?
Okay, so long short story, JIT began after World War II, whereby the Japanese are facing some after-war problems to continue the business. So some of the difficulties are, firstly, they didn't have lots of cash, which were Japanese lack of cash made it difficult for industry to finance the big batch or a large inventory production method that are common elsewhere. And then the second difficulties are there are no free lot to expand their factory. So the Japanese lack of spaces to build big factories for them to store their inventories. And then next is scarcity of resource. So the resource were scarce, and the Japanese are lacking of natural resources to build their own products. And then the last difficulty is high unemployment rate. Japanese had a very high unemployment rate after the World War II, so which means that the labor efficiency method were not an obvious pathway to the industrial succeed. So there is one Japanese man named Taiichi Ohno, which is from Toyota company, the car manufacturer, started to get idea for the solution on this problem from America supermarket system, where he learned the pull system, or the other name is Kanban. They get the idea from the supermarket system, in which the customer pulled the goods from the shelf to fill their shopping carts. So eventually, creating an empty space on the shelf, and then the empty space is a signal for a seller to replace the products. So when the good or the product quantities become low, it is the signal for the seller to order more goods from the supplier. So in order to apply this concept to manufacturing, Ono devised Taichi Ono devised a system whereby the usage of part is determined by the production rates. The materials are pulled through the plant by usage or consumption of the part in the final assembly, and then he decided to move the machine closer together and form a manufacturing cells as to maximize the result. So that is how GIT become knowable, and around 1950 or 1960s, people started to implement GIT, and until 1970s, it was fully used and realized. People starting to realize the benefit of just-in-time system. Next. So all organization or business in this world needed a good inventory management. Hence, one of the good inventory system is just-in-time system. So I will explain more on the definition of JIT. So according to CIMA, JIT is a system whose objective is to produce or procure product or component as that are required by customer or for use, rather than for inventory. An inventory strategy company employ to increase efficiency and decrease waste by receiving goods only as they are needed in the production process, thereby reducing inventory cost. So in a simple word, JIT system is where the products or the stock will only arrive when they are ordered from the customer. So a very good example for the JIT system would be a car manufacturer that operates with a very low inventory level, relying on their supply chain to deliver the parts they need to build the car. The parts needed to manufacture the cars do not arrive before or after they need it, but they will only arrive just when they are needed. That's why we are calling it just in time. So next, so what is the objective of just in time? Objective of just in time is somehow related to each other. So let me see. So the first objective is eliminate inventory. Production will be processed only if there are orders from customer. So as I said before, in the system, production will be processed only if there are orders from customer. Hence, it will eliminate the inventory. And then second objective is eliminate waste. So when there are no stock to be stored, it can avoid waste. It actually when there are no stock or inventory to be stored, it can eliminate waste, since if there are stock to be kept in their inventory, in their store, there are many possibilities that the stock can become a waste in such circumstances like natural disaster like flood. So the flood will ruin the stock, and hence it will become a waste. So such waste also will causes quite losses for the production. So for the third objective, they can reduce material purchase, which they will save a lot of cost, so that they can improve on the productivity of the organization, or they can try to solve other problems that they are facing using the money that they reduce from the material purchase. Okay, so that's all from me. I hope that you guys understand that the basic part of the JIT system. So thank you for me, and I will pass the presentation of the next part to my friends, Miss Syazwani. Thank you.
Okay, I will take over the floor. Thank you, Miss Hani Liyana. Okay, my name is Nur Syazwani. Let's discuss about the characteristic and the benefits of just-in-time. Okay, the first one, the characteristic of just-in-time is full method of material flow. Okay, the customer demand activates production of item and produced in small lots just as needed. This will allow closer control of inventory. Second one, constant high quality. The efficient JIT system operation required conformance to product service specification and control quality at source and workers acting as their own quality inspector. Okay, next one, standardized component and work methods. Okay, standardized component and work method is called part commonality modularity. Standardized component and work methods aid in achieving the high production but low inventory. Next. Uniform workstation loads. Okay, just-in-time system works best if daily load on individual work is uniform. This can be achieved by assembling the same type and number of products each day. Thus, it will create uniform daily demand at all workstations. Okay, let's move to benefit of just-in-time. The first one is cost saving. It can reduce cost by eliminate warehouse need. Secondly, the benefit is efficiency. What is mean by efficiency? When we will spend less money on raw material because they buy just enough the product and no more the product. Okay. Next one, less space needed. Okay, when we use a just-in-time system, it with faster turnaround of stock and warehouse or storage space to store goods are less needed. This will reduce the amount of storage, and organizations don't need to rent or buy any storage place. Okay. Lastly is less working capital. Okay, when a business obtains stock supplies and as needed basis, then less working capital is required, which appeals to a lot of business owner because funds that were tied up in inventories can be used for as well. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
I am the next presenter, and my name is Sherril Azzlynda binti Radzali, and I will proceed this discussion on the subtopic of drawback of GIT and elements of GIT. And for the first one, we look at the drawback of GIT. For the first factor, which is risk of running out of stock, for this element, the company need to have the correct procedures in their stock availability. With this GIT manufacturing, the company do not carry as much stock. This is because Their stock is based on the demand forecast, and if those are incorrect, then the business will not have the correct amount of stock readily available for their consumers. This is one of the most common issues with manufacturing that utilize this method. And now we'll proceed with the second factor, which is lack of control over time frame. The company having to rely on the timeliness of suppliers for each order, which may put their business at risk of delaying their customers' receipt of goods. If they don't meet their customers' expectations, they could take their business elsewhere, which will have a huge impact on their business if it occurs often. For a longer period, this may affect the company to lose their customers' loyalty. And now we proceed with the third one, which is more planning are required to implement the system. With this GIT inventory management, it will require the companies to understand the sales trends and variances in close detail. Many companies have seasonal sales periods, meaning that a number of products will need a higher stock level to combat consumer demand, especially when the festive season. Therefore, the business must plan ahead for instances like this and ensure that their suppliers are able to fulfill the requirements so that there will no problem with the supply chain. And now we proceed with the last one, which is problems with natural disasters. Tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, and other natural disasters can have a huge impact on any business. The difference with this GIT system that the effect can be felt much more harshly. The danger is not only what happens when emergencies arise near the business, but also when they happen in other areas where a business suppliers happen to be. And now we will proceed to the last one, which is elements of GIT. There are three major elements of GIT, and the first one is GIT manufacturing. This is the element of GIT that focuses directly on the production system. To make this possible, many aspects of GIT manufacturing combine to provide a performance advantage. And for the second one is total quality management. This is an integrating effort designed to improve quality performance at every level. And for the last one is respect for people. This rests on the philosophy that human resources are an essential part of GIT philosophy. That's all from me.
Thank you, Ms. Sherril. My name is Siti Alawiyah binti Yazid, and I will be the next presenter to present types of cheat and strategy to implement cheat. First, let's go to the types of cheat. There are two types of cheat. First, cheat purchasing and cheat production. What is cheat purchasing? Cheat purchasing is an approach to inventory management in which products are bought in small quantities to reduce store inventory carrying costs and delivery just in time for use. And what is JIT production? JIT production is a workflow methodology aimed at reducing flow times within production system as well as response times from supplier and to customers. And what is JIT production? JIT production is a workflow methodology aimed at reducing flow times within production systems as well as response times from suppliers and to customers. Next, we go to strategy to implement JIT. How to implement JIT? There are 5 steps. Step 1 is awareness revolution. Step 2, 5S for workplace improvement. Step 3, flow manufacturing. Step 4, standard operation, and Step 5, multi-process handling. Let's go one by one. For Step 1, which is awareness revolution, there are 10 principles for improvement. 1. Abolish all tradition concepts. 2. Assume that new method will work. 3. No excuses is accepted. 4. It is not seeking for perfection. Absolutely zero defect process. Few defects is acceptable. 5. Correct mistakes immediately. 6. Do not spend money on investment. 7. Use your brain to solve problem. 8. Repeat to ask yourself 5 times before any decision. 9. Gather information from several people. More is better. 10. Remember that improvement has no limit. The main point here is to have an awareness of the need of throwing out old system and adopting a new one. Step 2. 5S for workplace improvement. What is the 5S? First is Seiri, Seiton, Seiso, Seiketsu, and the last one is Shitsuke. What is Seiri? Seiri is Seiri is proper arrangement, means sorting what you have, identifying the needs, and throwing out those unnecessary. For example, using red flags. This is a little red border paper saying what the production is, how many are accumulated, and then stick this red text onto every box of inventory. It enhances the easiness to know the inventory status and can reduce costs. Next is Seiton. Seiton is orderliness, means making things in order. For examples, including keeping shelf in order, keeping storage areas in order, and etc. Next is Seiso. Seiso is cleanliness, means having a clean workplace or having a clean equipment. Next is Seiketsu. Seiketsu is cleaning up, mean having a Seiketsu is clean up, mean maintaining equipment and tools. And the last one in Shitsuke is discipline, means following the rules and making them a habit. Let's go to step 3. Step 3 is flow manufacturing. Flow manufacturing means producing one single piece of product at one time but multiple handling, which follows the process sequence. There are several main points concerning flow manufacturing. First, arrange machine in sequence. You shape a production line. Produce one piece at a time. Train workers to be multi-skilled. 5. Follow the cycle time. And 6. Let the workers standing and working around while working. And the last one, use small and detected machines. For step 4, which is standard operation is to produce quality safely and less explaining through efficient rules and methods of arranging people, products, and machines. There are 4 basics of standards of operation. First is the cycle time. It means how long it will help to take to carry out part all the way through the cell. Second, work sequence. Third is the standard stock on hand. And 4, use operation charts. And the last but not least, step 5, multi-process handling. Multi-process handling means one worker is responsible for several processes in a cell. There are some points that should be aware. First, clearly assign jobs to machine and workers. Second, make a good use of U-shaped cell manufacturing. Third, multi-skill workers. And fourth, operation should be able to perform multi-machine handling and multi-process handling. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter, Mr. Dzahrul. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum to Madam Azrina and my fellow friends. Okay, first and foremost, I will introduce myself, Md Azhar, bin Muhammad Tahar, and thank you, Siti. Okay, I will present challenges first in implementing just in time. Okay, the first challenge is it is very costly to change the business from traditional stocking business to one that use just in time. Okay. In addition, the process of changing the procedure of traditional stocking business can result some business disruption and losses. Why? Okay. This is because implementing just in time involves large initial costs with no short-term returns or profit. But implementing just in time can be seen in a long term. Okay, we move to the second challenge, which is stock out. Okay, the second challenge consists of the supply chain of the company, which means that when the company do not have any stock of backup, then any small disruption of the supply might cause the company to face serious problem, including stock out, which can result the whole process of manufacturing to shut down because of the non-supply. Okay, we move to the last challenges, which is increased job stress. Okay, why it is increased job stress? Okay, for example, the employee need to catch up to with the tight deadline that had been set up to make just in time success. Okay, I will move to the next topic, which is critical success for just in time. Okay, the first one is top management commitment and the culture of the organization. Okay, top management is the very, very important role to make just in time to success. Okay, why? This is because the top management need to lead the employee or motivate the employee to make this strategy successful. Okay, they also need to guide the employee. They need to guide the employee to implement just in time, because without any guidance from the top management, just in time cannot be implemented in very successful way. Okay, the next is employees' involvement and commitment. Okay, employee also a very important individual, or employee also is a very important entity to make just in time successful, to implement just in time successful. Okay, this is because without the commitment of the employees to implement just in time might be very difficult to the organization. Okay, therefore, employee need to play a good role and need to follow the guide of the top management and also give commitment to the organization to make sure just in times will be successful. Okay, the last one is supplier coordination. Okay, so why supplier? Okay, supplier is also very important role to make just in time successful. Okay, this is because supplier need to make sure their product or their manufacturing their raw materials are ready to be sent to the organization. Okay, if the supplier cannot cooperate or cannot follow the deadline of the that need by the organization, therefore just in time cannot be implemented in a successful way. Okay, that's all from me, and the conclusion is just in time is another approach of improving effectiveness, competitiveness, efficiency, and flexibility of the company in order to best suit to the customer needs. Okay, just-in-time system is a tool which can help the company to minimize cost, error or mistake of the production. Just-in-time system is a tool which can help company to minimize error or mistake of the productions. Okay, it is to meet customer requirements and to attain customer satisfactions. With just-in-time system, companies also become more competitive and productive in minimizing the total cost and improving the product quality. Meanwhile, there are plenty of advantages of implementing just-in-time, such as reduction costs, saving times, and also raising the quality of the products. But also they are also has disadvantages, as I said in the challenges implementing in just-in-time. Okay, so that's all from me, and thank you.